Hello everyone, welcome back to Africa Budget Pellet Gunner. Hope you're all doing well. Today, something that I have touched on in the past, but I thought I would redo the video, or just put a newer version of the video out. One of my subscribers recently sent me some rifles to review, and also she sent me this PCP hand pump, high pressure pump, and just wanted me to explain exactly what's what can you expect, and also my thoughts on why you would have a pump, when you would use it, for what you would use it. So let's start off with, I think many people, when they start off in PCPs, obviously you want to start off as cheap as you can, and many times the cheapest you can is with the hand pump. Does the hand pump have its place? Yes, most definitely. So if you look at some of the entry-level PCPs like the PR900 or the QB Chief from Beeman, they've got pretty small reservoirs, so anything around about 100 to 120 cc cylinders or reservoirs. So this is probably a nice place where you would be able to use a hand pump. It would be fairly easy to pump up your rifles. The other place that it would be fairly easy to pump them up is with your PCP pistols. So they've got very small cylinders, some of them 40, 50 cc cylinders. So this is definitely a place where you could use your hand pump. The other thing that we would need to consider is the pressures that you need to pump your rifle up to. So I would recommend only going up to 200 bar with the hand pump. Anything over that is going to be becoming quite difficult. If I think, for example, like the Umarex Origin comes with the pump, but that's running at 250 bar, and I can promise you to pump that up would be an absolute beast. So definitely smaller cylinders, the hand pump is applicable. If you're a little bit older in age, the hand pump is going to be a real workout for you. It's not easy going. The other place that I think there is maybe some merit to a hand pump is if you may be somewhere that's very remote, and you might be in the field and you just want to get an extra 5 to 10 shots out of your rifle, then definitely the hand pump could come into its own as well. However, for most PCPs, anything with let's say 180 cc cylinder and upwards, and anything over 200 bar full pressure, I don't think a hand pump is the way to go. Then you'd rather want to go with a compressor or a scuba tank. Alright, so that definitely covers why I would use the hand pump. So let's put this one together. Let me explain what is what and how you would use it. So let's start off with what is what. So basically you've got your tube, and inside this tube is another 3 tubes, and that allows basically to build up pressure in stages. So this is a 3-stage pump. Then you've got just your footrests on the side, so this is what you would be standing on whilst using the pump. You've got a gauge in front, you've got a full hose. At the end of this full hose there's this little, it's usually a pink or a red color, this little adapter. Inside here is actually a little white filter, and you would need to change this from time to time. I'd say every maybe 3 months, depending how much you use it. I would replace this filter, but you'd actually see it becomes difficult to pump. Then you know that this filter is starting to get blocked. And this is just a quick coupling on the end here. Put your full probe in the end, put it in your rifle, and you're good to go. Then the next thing that you've got is you've got this gauge here. So this specific gauge goes up until so this one is in PSI on the outside and in bar on the middle. It goes up to 400 bar on this gauge, or 6000 PSI. You definitely won't be using those pressures. Most probably the maximum that you would consider pumping by hand is probably 200 bar. So I think this gauge is more than adequate. Another thing that you'll need to remember, this gauge and the gauge on your rifle might not always correspond with each other. but I would say most probably this gauge on the pump will be more accurate than the one on your rifle, unless you've got an aftermarket gauge on your rifle. Then going around to the back here, so this piece that you see here is not on all rifles, but on all pumps, but it does have it. And this is actually just a dryer. It's to avoid getting moisture inside the pump, and ultimately if you get moisture inside the pump, you're going to end up pumping that moisture into your rifle, and you do not want that because it's going to allow for rust and corrosion inside your rifle and as well as inside your pump. So this is just a normal desiccant filter. You'll often find these in the industry. You'll find them on gearboxes and stuff like that. Nothing fancy, just to keep all the moisture out, basically to dry it out so that the air is dry. Alright, so that's what that does. That just screws on. You don't need to tighten it. Just by hand is more than sufficient. Then down the bottom here, you've got a little bleed off valve. So basically, once you want to start pumping, you're going to close this up. Once this valve is closed, all the pressure is going to go through your line into your rifle. Now you pump up your rifle. Let's say you get it to 200 bar, you're happy, it's full. Then what's going to happen is you're going to have pressure inside your cylinder and pressure inside this hose, which means you will not be able to pull out the full probe. So what do? We just loosen here on the bleed off valve. That will allow the pressure that's inside this hose to release, and then you'll be able to pull it out easily. So very simple, very straightforward, nothing too complicated. And then the last part that I've got here, this will come separate, is just the handle, and this just screws onto the top here. So I'm going to quickly do that. This one uses a 5mm Allen key. So just going to put it on top here. Really not too difficult. So for this instance, the lady that sent me all of these things has two rifles. One is a Hatson Flash 101. The other rifle is Artemis P12, and both of them have fairly big cylinders, well over 200 cc. So I don't think this pump will be used to refill those guns regularly. However, if she is out in the field shooting and she just needs a couple more shots, or maybe the pressure's just dropped off of the regulator of the P12, then she can use this just to top it up a little bit. So definitely can be used as an emergency. And that's it, guys. Nothing too complicated. I think you can see why I'm making this video today. We've got some nasty weather outside, some thunderstorms, so yeah, that's it. That's all there is to it. PCP pump, simple as can be. Oh, another thing that I didn't mention now, this will always come with a little bit of very thin oil. It's almost like the same oil that you would use inside of a sewing machine or a hair clipper or something like that. And you want to just use a little bit. So I'd say every third time you use your pump, just put a couple of drops around the edges here, and that will just help you to lubricate, and it will protect your little O-rings and seals, and you'll be good to go. And that's it, guys. That's all there is to PCP pump. I'll also leave a link below to an illustrated version of exactly how it works, how it builds up pressure inside of this. There's a nice video online about that you can go watch once you've done this one. Until next time, guys, see you around. Happy shooting.